I stood beside a Porsche public relations man at the company's Atlanta headquarters looking for the last time at our long-term Cayman S, determinedly not saying what I wanted to say, which was, how much money would it take to make this my personal car? Even with 40,000 miles on its clock, I knew the guard's red, lightly optioned Cayman S was out of my reach. Turns out, the PR guy was going through the same quiet calculations. If the car started at 72 grand and I could get it for its auction price, then. But the math didn't work for him, either. In 27.4 acres, by the Atlanta airport, Porsche has crammed a mile-long handling course and various other driving school facilities. I had just driven the thing from the frigid north down to Porsche's tiny bit of Germany in America as a sort of homecoming and to goof around on the company's little road course. It was like one of those Saturn homecomings in Spring Hill, Tennessee, more than a decade ago. But instead of mediocre economy cars and the people who felt inexplicably passionate about them, I was driving arguably the best all-around sports car on the market. My passion was justified, and I would be leaving without what I'd grown to think of as mine. I arrived in Atlanta on the very day Porsche announced the Boxster and Cayman would get a new name 718 and confirmed what everyone already knew, that the model would lose, in about a year's time, its gem of a naturally aspirated flat six in favor of a new turbocharged flat four. So integral to the appeal of the Cayman is its delicious exhaust and intake noise at the thought of it going silent, of not getting to experience it again in this particular car or in any future Cayman, was genuinely saddening. That engine noise was the reason that, when we had optioned our long-term of 15 months before, we chose the $2,825 Sport exhaust option to amplify the oral pleasure. This on a car we were desperately trying to keep to a reasonable sticker price. It's a frivolous option only to those who have no ears. Otherwise, we resisted the reams of splendiferous options Porsche offers for the Cayman S and every other model it produces. We focused on performance-enhancing fare and ended up with a $72,545 Cayman S that's up $7,750 on the base sticker of $64,795 for a 2014 model. While almost $8,000 is not a small amount of money, it's nothing compared with what's on most Cayman S's that we see, which regularly top $90,000. Ours included Porsche torque vectoring $1,320, an on-adjustable sports suspension $1,235, the $800 partially power-adjustable sports seats, and the aforementioned sport exhaust system. Throw in $670 for satellite radio and the $900 convenience package, which included the totally necessary heated seats and the utterly pointless two-zone climate control, and we had a livable, focused sports car, even if we had no USB port, Bluetooth connectivity, or navigation system, and the cheapest-looking steering wheel we've ever seen in a modern Porsche. We also let stand a standard 6-speed manual transmission because we like to roll our own and the standard 19-inch wheels because we wanted to maintain some level of ride comfort. Had the GTS model been available at the time we ordered, we would have just opted for that, as it brings a large load of standard equipment for a moderately sized load of extra cash. One of our staffers hated the standard 5-spoke wheels, another wished we ordered the adjustable shocks, a few quibbled about the lack of connectivity, most complained at one point or another about the ugly steering wheel, and virtually everyone was amazed at how few creature comforts $72,000 buys in a modern Porsche. But one drive in the thing and all was forgiven. Its perfectly weighted hyper-accurate steering, smooth clutch take-up, certain shifter, linear power delivery, and neutral handling turned out to be more compelling than a USB socket. Go figure. There might have been some head shaking on the part of Porsche employees while looking at the scarred belly of our Cayman S. The notebook quickly filled with hosannas. Perfect, a doll, delicious, splendid, fantastic, excellent. We pretty much wore out the list of positive adjectives in the synonym section of dictionary.com. And we accumulated miles quickly thanks to the Cayman S's surprisingly practical tot trunk scheme. This was one sports car that saw plenty of road trip miles, including journeys to Virginia, Pennsylvania, and North Carolina, among other destinations in the eastern half of the US. Our final road trip to Atlanta was by way of the glorious roads of the Blue Ridge Mountains. While we maintain that the Cayman S is more of a holistic sports car than a platform for delivering stunning performance numbers, the 325 horsepower 3,025 pound Cayman S posted solid test track figures. Once properly broken in, our car ran a 4.2 second 0 to 60 mph sprint and a 12.7 second quarter-mile time at 112 miles per hour, both a few tenths of a second off the times of the 2014 Chevrolet Corvette Stingray that we also had in the fleet, but the Cayman's engine never blew up, either. The Porsche circled the skid pad with a near-neutral demeanor and 1.03 grams S worth of grip and stopped in a stunning 145 feet from 70 miles per hour with zero fade. With 40,000 miles on it, the Cayman matched its earlier acceleration and cornering performance but added 9 feet to its braking distance. Several laps of Porsche's mini-road course at its Atlanta HQ revealed that the Cayman S has lost none of its capabilities, grace, or hunger for fast driving. Our only complaint was with the Goodyear Eagle F1 tires. We suspect a different tire would have provided more progressive breakaway characteristics. But the Goodyears were the only summer tires available with the 19-inch wheel package for 2014. Sports cars are not without their compromises, though. And here, we're not talking about this vehicle's lack of creature comforts. We opted for the non-adjustable sports suspension in our Cayman S, which drops the car 0.8 inch compared with the already low-slung standard car. It sat there hugging the ground like a pretty red scarab. The downside, other than the occasional clumsy exit from the driver's seat, was that we needed to approach even moderately steep driveways with the care normally reserved for bomb squad operations. Our car's chin bore the scars of the momentarily careless. Worse, someone managed to punch a dent in the underside of the body, roughly the shape and size of the speed bumps in our office complex. Top left, spoiler rises at 75 miles per hour. Bottom left, drifting shots are the best. Everyone knows that. Right, why is that man's mouth open? But the world was not done abusing the belly of our little beast. We found a titanium-larded kitchen knife jammed, somehow, into the underside of our Cayman. The blade was lodged between two panels on the passenger side and was easily removed. The knife was either craftily inserted by a miscreant or was kicked up from the road in the most improbable way. Neither explanation makes much sense, frankly. But the only lasting damage was to our understanding of physics and our faith in humanity. Otherwise, the Cayman S was a better real-world car than the Stingray with which it shared space in our long-term stable. A brutal, face-blisteringly cold winter presented no particular challenge. The Cayman S started quickly and ran flawlessly. It was even fun to drive in the white stuff while wearing its Michelin Pilot Alpine PA4 winter tires, assuming the snowdrifts weren't too high. This is not to say there were no problems. We had a vexing engine oil level issue. We added Mobil 3 times in our first 16,000 miles at the behest of the oil level sensor, which pops up the dire warning, oil level below minutes. Refill oil at once. Do not drive on. It happened at 1881 miles, again at 7,643 miles, and again at 15,774 miles. Then, intermittently, we started getting a warning about the oil level being above maximum. We drained about a quarter of a quart, even though the warning had already gone away. We took it to the dealer, who said the oil level was still almost 2 quarts too high. We weren't sure if the oil level sensor was schizophrenic or if we were. But after 16,000 miles we had no further warnings and added no more oil. We suspect we'd gotten low oil readings from the sensor and added oil when it wasn't necessary. Most frustrating, this all probably could have been avoided if the Cayman had a dipstick, which it doesn't. At 17,785 miles, we took it to the dealership to replace, under warranty, a broken washer fluid line. At 29,637 miles we returned to the dealership to investigate a rattling noise we began to hear coming from the steering column or dash. Turns out the culprit was a left front strut upper bearing and support, which the dealer replaced under warranty. By the end of its stay with us, the Cayman's Cayman-shaped remote key fob locked and unlocked doors only intermittently. The dealer replaced it free of charge. Other repairs included a new windshield to replace the rock-shattered original. That ran us $880. At 34,880 miles, the rear tires were riding on the wear bars and making a hell of a racket. Those cost a total of $814 to buy and have mounted. The only bills that seemed excessively high, though.